PolitiFact is jumping on this train that Bernie's campaign took Joe Biden out of context, and they rule we rate this statement false. Even though Joe Biden is literally on tape. He's literally on tape saying we need to make adjustments. And that's just one tape. I'm about to show you a whole bunch of others. But CNN, MSNBC doesn't want to be outdone either. So here's MSNBC using these same talking points that are not factual at all.
For Americans.
So the idea here is that Biden was saying this is something that Republicans will want to force because they have passed the tax cut, and the Sanders edited video made it seem like that was Biden's position. I just want to make sure I understand this right.
Exactly. And
MSNBC's crusade against Bernie Sanders has nothing to do with its parent company, Comcast, pouring in hundreds of millions of dollars to stop net neutrality. Oh, by the way, Comcast happens to do fundraisers for Joe Biden. Top lobbyist for Comcast had Joe Biden at his house with other plutocrats for his first fundraiser. That has nothing to do with anything. But again, this use of the term edited or deceptively doctored, it's not factual. It's not factual at all. Bernie Sanders' campaign put out a sliver of what Joe Biden said, and instead of actually wanting to talk about it, instead of wanting to actually answer for his past comments, Joe Biden is borrowing from Trump and saying fake news. You doctored it. So here's Joe Biden through the years on Social Security.
When I argued that we should freeze federal spending, I meant Social Security as well. I meant Medicare and Medicaid. I meant veterans benefits. I meant every single solitary thing in the government. And I not only tried it once, I tried it twice, I tried it a third time, and I tried it a fourth time. I introduced the balanced budget amendment in 1984. It got nowhere. I'm one of those Democrats who voted for the constitutional amendment to balance the budget. I have introduced on four occasions, entire plans to balance the budget, knowing I'm not president and I'm not the leader, but for illustrative purposes. I tried with Senator Grassley back in the 80s to freeze all government spending, including Social Security, including everything.
Senator, we have a deficit. We have Social Security and Medicare looming. The number of people on Social Security and Medicare is now 40 million people. It's going to be 80 million in 15 years. Would you consider looking at those programs, age of eligibility,
Absolutely.
cost of living, put it all on the table?
The answer is absolutely, you have to. I mean, it's one of the things that the political advisors say to me is, whoa, don't touch that third. Look, the American people aren't stupid. It's a real simple proposition. We have to do, you and I were talking about Bob Dole earlier. I was one of 5 people, I was the junior guy, in the meeting with Bob Dole, George Mitchell, when we put Social Security in the right path for 60 years. I'll never forget what Bob Dole said. After we reached an agreement about gradually raising the retirement age, et cetera, he said, look, here's the deal. We all put our foot in the boat one at a time. And he kidded me. He stepped like he was stepping into a boat. And we all make the following deal. If any one of the challengers running against incumbent Democrat or Republicans attacks us on this point, we'll all stay together. That's the kind of leadership that is needed. Social Security is not the hard one to solve. Medicare, that is the gorilla in the room. And you've got to put all of it on the table.
Everything.
Everything. You've got to. The American people know we have to fix Social Security. They know we can't grow our way to a solution. They know we're going to have to make some tough decisions. They're ready to make these decisions. They're ready to step up. We have to be ready to straightforwardly tell them what we're about to do. As I go around the country like other candidates, whether I'm in Oxford, Mississippi, or Bangor, Maine, it doesn't matter. The one criticism our party gets from Democrats is we tend to be too timid. It's almost like we're afraid to tell the American people the unvarnished truth. Well, folks, they're waiting for the truth.
How's that? That's the unvarnished truth. And just so I'm not accused of doctoring anything or selectively editing anything. I just played you full clips that are on YouTube. Those are the clips. And this goes beyond Social Security, okay? Because Social Security, it's important, don't get me wrong. But this goes beyond Social Security. And put aside Bernie Sanders for a second, and put aside Joe Biden for a second. And I don't often do this, but I'm going to borrow from my old boss, Cenk Uygur, because I think there's something that he and the Young Turks has said. I don't want to say it was mine. They've said it for a long time. The corporate media's bias is not necessarily left or right. Their bias is for the establishment. Their bias is for the status quo. So that's why immediately when there is, that's just 4 or 5 clips. There are more out there. You just got to look. Joe Biden saying things about Social Security, Medicare. We got to increase the military budget. We got to cut food stamps. I've seen it. So instead of having the mentality of a journalist, all right, let the voters need to know. Let's get this out there. Immediately, in their mind, CNN's John King, that MSNBC reporter, their benefit of the doubt, because that's what it is, goes to the establishment figure. Well, he's taken out of context. Context is very important. This is selectively edited. La 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 la. Yet, the same network, the very same network, CNN, just ran for a week with a story they concocted that is the definition of something not verifiable. Is the definition of something that, the definition of he said, she said, the definition of something that has no context because you don't even know what literally was said. Don't take it from me. Take it from the CNN anchor this morning. I tweeted it out. That literally said, and I quote, "We can't know what was said." Speaking about between Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren. When it is negative about, when the facts and the record are negative about Joe Biden, lacking context. When we could push something and drive a story that has no context, we literally don't know what was said. We're just going to take the word of Elizabeth Warren and spin it as a fact. It hurts Bernie Sanders. To hell with context. This is manufacturing consent. This is propping up the status quo. That is why we need a status coup in this country. Who's with me? Sign up as a member. statuscoup.com/join. Join the media revolution for as low as $5 a month. Makes a big difference. Thank you, Estavo Garcia, $5 in the super chat. With all the evidence out, CNN is unable to confirm the truth about Biden. Meanwhile, they were able to confirm Sanders is sexist with no evidence. You said it better than I could say it. And you want to know something? In this age of truly fake news, what I mean by that is there legitimately is distorted videos going out. Fast forwarding things people said, faking things people said. It's called deep fake. Yes, deep fake. In this age of actual fake news, I don't mean Trump's version of fake news, which is just Trump's BS way of shielding himself from any accountability for anything. But in this age of actual fake news, what CNN, MSNBC is doing is a real dangerous game because it creates really a post-truth world where fact doesn't matter anymore. Listen, it's very possible that if CNN and MSNBC reported these facts about Joe Biden and his continued crusade to, instead of cutting the military budget, instead of raising taxes a lot higher on wealthy people and corporations, of adjusting Social Security, it's very possible that seniors would look at that and say, well, I don't like that, but he's saying now I'm going to expand it, and I think he's best to beat Donald Trump. That's possible. But the viewers deserve the truth, and CNN's not giving it to them. And by the way, I mean, it's not just what Joe Biden said in the 1980s, the 1990s. I mean, oh, well, here is Joe Biden in 1983 in a newspaper. Biden also suggested that a gradual increase in the retirement age would help to improve the Social Security system. Again, calling for a raise in the retirement age. PolitiFact, this is from Ryan Grimm. PolitiFact says Biden was being sarcastic and mocking Paul Ryan when he agreed that you have to cut Social Security to balance the budget. Of course, how can PolitiFact, who's supposed to verify facts, factually know if Joe Biden was being sarcastic or not? That's your interpretation. But again, these are our fact checkers. But that whisper thing Biden does is an old move. He does it when he's speaking forbidden, politically incorrect truths to the left. Go watch Biden's speeches. You'll find that whisper move is consistent. Means he's attacking the left. But okay, say you don't believe me. It's wrong on a second count here. PolitiFact bolded the wrong words. The right ones are highlighted. And Grimm points out it still needs adjustment. Talking about Social Security. Adjustment in Washington is a euphemism for cuts. This part, though, there's no excuse for. PolitiFact, as their neutral arbiter, uses a guy from an organization founded for the purpose of cutting Social Security. You just can't make this up. You literally can't make this up. PolitiFact, like the judge in this, goes to an eyewitness whose organization's stated goal is to cut Social Security to determine whether Biden has called to cut Social Security. And by the way, it's not just as a senator. Biden, when he was vice president to Obama, spent months pursuing a deal with Republicans that would have cut Social Security and Medicare benefits. This is a matter of public record. They changed their tune in the latter years, but the history is pretty clear on this. Want more? This is the guy who wrote the oral history of Obama. Brian Adams. Enough video evidence shows how Biden's being particularly Trumpy about his willingness to cut Social Security and Medicare. Also worth noting, in the oral history, Obama aides openly discuss the White House putting entitlements on the table during the 2011 budget wars. Biden led those talks for 2 months, and he shows former Obama people in their books pointing this out. So, you want to have a debate? Let's have a debate. If you think Social Security should be cut instead of the military budget, if you think Social Security should be cut or the retirement age should be cut instead of increasing taxes on corporations, increasing taxes on people that are very wealthy, instead on increasing taxes on capital gains, then you should defend that and explain why. Hope you enjoyed that last video. Hop on over to statuscoup.com where you can sign up for our email list and become a member for as low as $5 to $10 a month. Membership is how we grow. That's statuscoup.com/join. And remember, join our email list so we can grow the revolution with you.